Hello everybody, welcome back to the cabin. Welcome back to Commonwealth. Flipper, thanks for joining us today. If you've been watching the show for the past year, you know I've told a few post office stories, but this one takes the cake. I mean, I was almost dumbfounded by what I heard at the post office, and it relates to a video I did quite a while ago that a lot of you may have seen about media mail and what qualifies for media mail, what doesn't qualify for media mail. And I'm standing there waiting to talk to somebody, and one of the people working at the counter there, but I'll tell you what, you just got to hear it. But we've got some great sales today. Let's take a look at 3 or 4 before we talk about this crazy story. Let's take a look. First sale may not seem like an absolute winner or a bolo or anything like that, but in a way it is a bolo. This one only sold for $20 plus shipping, but some can go for great money. It should be, no, maybe it's up here. There it is. A metal license plate frame. Not a license plate, but a license plate frame. I'm not going to be able to get it out of here. There's a lot of stuff in this drawer here. There we go. Bin, I should say. My pumpkin bin. And this one right here, Carlsbad, assuming Carlsbad, well, could be California. Ken Grody Ford. And that's not, you know, a huge name, but a lot of these around the country, if you, especially high-end cars, you know, Porsche or Ferrari or shoot, all kinds of different ones. If you can find the metal plates from certain dealers around this country, you can make quite a bit of money. You would be surprised by how much some of these are worth. This one was, you know, I picked it up just kind of generic, but it's metal. I'm like, somebody's going to want that. Might be long tail, but somebody's going to want it. $20 plus shipping. Next sale is something kind of cool. $12.99 plus shipping. Some of you may recognize that. And that is a little piece of the Berlin Wall. And it reminds me of my youth. Of course, 1989, Fall of the Wall. We were in I was in a hotel room in Reno, Nevada when that happened. I remember it pretty distinctly. And then, of course, the aftermath and everything that follows. But when I was a teacher, I would, of course, use the Berlin Wall as a teaching point for many, many reasons. You can use it to, well, I'm not going to get, well, I'll tell you what, there's a sale later. We can talk a little bit about it maybe. But one thing I did for sure is I would ask my students, you know, what side of the wall do you think you're looking at? West or east? And it was always funny to hear their answers because eventually they would figure it out. Well, if there's graffiti on the wall, then you must be on the western side of the wall for sure. Because if you got that close to the eastern side of the wall, you'd get shot. Looking at it, it's actually $12.99 free shipping. Hi, Kevin. My wife and I became resellers earlier this year, and we love your helpful videos. Thank you. I'm a high school history teacher. The eBay sales are going well enough that I will be retiring next week to become a full-time reseller. So does that mean, tell me in the comments, did you retire after, 30 years, after you put in your time there, or are you retiring early like I did? I put in 21. A little scary sometimes, right? Anyway, thank you so much for sharing your experience and insight with fellow resellers. P.S. We'd love a sticker. Thanks, Alan and Sharon. 4 Paws SC, South Carolina, on eBay. Thank y'all very, very much. And of course, we always throw in a couple of stickers with all these orders. I've been throwing in some other stuff as well as we wind down to the end of the year. So here we go. I think Thrasher is on this side. Single, no card. There it is right there. Thrasher sold, another G.I. Joe figure. And that one didn't go for much, didn't have the card, and I think it might have been missing one thing. It's not a high demand item, but still $10 profit, $12 plus shipping, $1,762 from $10.40. That's pretty good profit so far. The next item, strangely, is going to relate to the topic at hand today, and that is media mail, and what I could not believe that I heard at the post office. But I heard it, not only heard it, but I saw something that I just couldn't believe. So here it is, Frog Anatomy poster. And a lot of these different ones have sold for big bucks for me. This one wasn't too great. I'm going to get it out here. It only went for around $40 plus shipping. But a lot of people don't realize it. But something like this, a poster, a graph that is purely educational, actually can qualify for media mail. And look at this. How about this box right here? You know, to find a substitute for the old USPS box, which priority mail, you'd have to send it out priority mail. You can actually send this thing media mail, if you can believe that. It's 48 inches. Now, this is the SupplyHut box that I've been using in lieu of using these boxes to ship out UPS because of the fees on things that are over 22 inches now. It's just crazy. So that is an absolute perfect box. I didn't mean this to be a plug for SupplyHut. However, if you want these boxes, look at this. Code Commonwealth gets you 5% off at supplyhut.com. I think this went for, let me just double check really quickly here. It went for $38.19. Must have gone off at a 5% off deal. I better let Pepper in really quick. She's a little feisty today. So there you go, media mail. I'm sure people will yell at me and tell me I'm wrong in the comments, but look it up. There's some things like flashcards and whatnot that are a little bit questionable. This is purely educational, designed to be in a classroom. Although now it's so old, probably won't be used for that. All right, so if you've watched the show for a while, you know I've had some crazy stuff with my post office. This one takes the cake, but it wasn't at my local post office. It was at a different one, which explains why I was standing in line to begin with. Normally I'll, you know, if I know the post office, I know where to set my packages and they're just going to scan them in when they have time. But this one was a different post office that I haven't been to very often. And I went in there and I was waiting. There was only one person, so it wasn't a big deal. And she had a book, what I thought was a book anyways. Turned out it was a book. So I'm waiting in line because there's only one other person there. And if you're a reseller, there's at some point you've stood in a line somewhere. And it's, you want to help people out sometimes because they're coming and paying retail prices at the post office and buying boxes and stuff. I'm like, oh my goodness. And they're paying like double what they should be paying. And I had a feeling that's what was happening here. She had a small little, I didn't know what it was at the time. Turned out it was a book. And she's like, you know, can I ship this out in this? You know, it was a priority box. And she's like, well, it could go out book rate if there's time, you know, Christmas and whatever, you know, media mail, book rate. And she said, you can buy one of these packages over here. That's, you know, just one of the packages that they sell there. That's not a priority box. And that's exactly what she did. And then she comes over and she puts a card in it. She puts like a Christmas card in it. She's like, well, you can't do media mail if there's anything else in there. So you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to pay priority mail. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Which I suppose by the rules is very, very true, right? And she goes on to start going down this diatribe of things. You can't put a sticker in there. You can't put anything. You can't even put a bookmark in there. It doesn't qualify for media mail anymore and whatever. And this poor lady, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So that is interesting. And I was upcharged one time because in a media mail, I think it was like a kind of a floppy manual. And sometimes I'll put a little extra piece of cardboard in there in order to make it a little bit more firm. And I used, you know, old pieces of boxes I cut up. And apparently one of the things I put in there was an old piece of a priority box that I was just trying to recycle and reuse. And I got upcharged for it. It actually got sent back to me. And it told, Pepper's knocking off the cat treats. What are you doing? See how she knocked that off? All right, I'm going to feed you a treat and I'm kicking you out. All right, I'm not sure where I was at in the story, but I think we're at the point where the lady ended up having to pay priority mail. And this thing might actually have been close to first class. But you know, at the post office, first class is 13 ounces and under, where if you ship it from home using, you know, Pirate Ship or Rolo Shipping Manager or any of the, you know, numerous online platforms, shipping it using eBay, for instance, you can go 16 ounces and down, and you can ship it out first class. This thing didn't look like it weighed very much. My guess is it was probably under a pound. And she ended up paying like almost $11 to ship this thing. $11. It was crazy. And, you know, I don't know. I suppose the postal worker was doing their job. You know, they're following the rules as they're written. But let me know what you do. Let me tell you, I've had some crazy stuff sent to me in media mail. You know, these are the same size as a record. These record, like, frames. And when I've bought these, people send these things media mail. which is clearly not medium mail. I hear crazy stories every once in a while. Tell me your comments below of what people have sent to you medium mail. I think I did a pretty good video on medium mail. I had maybe one thing wrong in it. You can go check it out if you want to. It's pretty old. I look a little thinner back then as well. Any rate, can you imagine? I've broken USPS rules, man, thousands of times, and here's why. Right here, here's why. Every time I ship out a record, you know, I ship out with this stuff right here. So therefore it's apparently not media, which by rule I suppose is correct. But can you imagine? Hey, there's a good little, I guess I'm telling you how to break the rules here. If you have a box, you know, I shipped out a DVD the other day. And if you're shipping a DVD, it was a set. And if you're shipping it in a box, you know, put this stuff in the bottom of it. Because they'll open those boxes from time to time. And they usually open them from the top. And if they see it's a DVD, they'll just close it back up. They're not going to dig to see if there's a sticker at the bottom. So I've always liked to kind of think that by the letter of the law, they might, you know, tell you this is the way it is. But if they're actually doing it and a human being is making the decision, you know, a bookmark in a book, I can't imagine being the one upcharging. Because the upcharge on something like a heavy book going from coast to coast is crazy amount of money. Would you do that if you're an employee? Would you upcharge them because they left a piece of paper in there or a sticker? Paid $1 for a lily bloom. There it is right there. Purse, a little elephant purse. My wife loves elephants. And it sold for $17 plus shipping. All right, we sold some more of these posters, a 3-pack. I'll put it up here on the screen for you really quick. And then I'm going to show you, this is how I've been kind of cheap. You could buy these 24-inchers and ship those posters in there. What I do is I cut one side of them down and then I fold it over to make it into a triangle, because a triangle is far sturdier than a square. And so I've been shipping them out. What I take these 48 inches and I literally cut them in half. And then I cut there and make it into the triangle. It's a little sturdier. I put an end cap on, or I cut out a triangle end on this side, and then I put a little bubble on this side. And that's how I've been shipping them out, because it's a lot cheaper to buy these and cut them in half. Although, you know what? It takes quite a bit of time. So I might be better off time-wise just buying the 24-incher. But that's what I've been doing so far on these. And they've been selling pretty good. These are awesome little posters. I can imagine people putting them up in their little Disney viewing rooms or something. Maybe they got an Airbnb Disney room for a kid or something. $39 plus shipping. Decided I'd go ahead and package that up and show you this. I know it seems a little crazy to some people, but that's the finished product right there. And it is far sturdier than keeping it in a box. A box is going to crush much easier than this little triangle right there. I think I'll make a video of it and put it over on the Garage Sale Nation channel. And I don't know, I probably won't do it till sometime in the new year, but I'll do it and I'll show it to you all over there if you're interested in taking a look at it. I'm looking for iceberg. It might take me a minute to find old iceberg. Let's see if I have to put the camera down. And of course I found iceberg as soon as I put the camera down. Brownsville, Texas. That was pretty good right there. Check out the original sticker, $2.97 on so for, it's missing a gun. So for $14 for shipping. Brings us to a total from $10.40 to $17.75. Sorry the heater's on back there making noise, but I have just got to show you all this. Check this out. And this came from Jess. And I thought there was a Jess and. It's, oh, AKA, oh no, here it is. My boyfriend and I are resellers. I don't think you mentioned, oh, here it is. Jesse and Ryan. I knew it was there somewhere. They sent this awesome card. But check this out, y'all. It's funny because I wore my Rowdy Piper shirt today, but I almost wore my Ultimate Warrior shirt. Those were the last two. I'm like, I haven't worn these in a while. I'll pick one out. And then I got these. I should have gone and changed, but you wouldn't have believed it if I did. Ultimate Warrior Enaman. I mean, how cool is that? It's a sticker. And she says she's starting the process of a small business, stickers and such, along with reselling, and hopefully quit my job and go full-time. That is awesome. So let me tell you what. If you haven't got a message from me already, hit me up on Instagram. We'll talk. Maybe we can collab and do something together. But in the meantime, I'm going to absolutely love those right there. I might stick one of those out in the cabin. I don't know what I'm going to do with those. Those are pretty cool, though. But hit me up on Instagram. Sold a Cabbage Patch right here, and this one sold to a viewer who left a nice message. Just had a little pig snout on that one. That one's pretty cool. A little CPK right there. Gotta love that. So for $13.68 plus shipping. Hi, Kevin. Thanks for the offer. Longtime viewer. I took your advice and bought from an eBay seller this season. Me. I told you all to find other folks, but I do appreciate that very, very much. I looked at a lot of other sellers' items. I like this all the best for my 4-year-old granddaughter. Pepper's trying to get back in again. This is her last Christmas in Virginia. Oh, I bet you're sad about that. Via, let's see, as next year via the Navy, her dad is being stationed in Japan. Anyway, blessings to you and your family this holiday season. Keep up the good work. Love the shed. Best regards, Marianne. And it's Angel's Vintage Treasure. Awesome. No invoice and packaging. You drop shipper? I'm just kidding. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Merry Christmas to your granddaughter. And thank your son for his service for me and for this country and for my family. Pepper, pepper, pepper. Sealed Star Wars VHS, which you'd think I'd keep, but this is one of the more common later editions, of course. And it's still sold, $17 and change. Got the watermarks on it. I think this might have come out of Maryland's box, so Maryland, thank you. And it's headed out. 1770 something. I don't know if you remember the other day, but I told you and a lot of you know this already. I'm preaching to the choir, but old listings are old listings for a reason sometimes, and it could be all kinds of reasons, but one might just be a mistake in the listing. And so a little tweak to the listing, that's what we did. We dropped this price by $1, and then what else did we do? We changed the shipping on it to a flat rate shipping. We had a mistake in there as, I think, a media mail shipping or something ridiculous, which they shouldn't have allowed anyways. But a little tweak like that, and they've started to sell like crazy. $58 plus shipping, $58 plus shipping, $58 plus shipping. Next one says repeat buyer. So I'm assuming, Luke, you were a viewer, but you did buy 2 things here, so maybe that's it. Maybe repeat because they made one purchase and another. But we'll thank Luke anyways, just in case. And we have the Gertie pin and the Elliott pin. Combined, they're going out of here for like $11.98 plus shipping. If you remember, not too long ago, we went to yard sale down the road, and these were some new old, not even old stock, they were brand new items. I think the guy used to be a hunter or something and he didn't do it anymore. This is Rage broadheads, archery hunting, I guess. And these sold for $23 and change. It's all pure profit at this point, and it'll go out first class. It's super light. Sold some Rugrat puppets. Gotta love this sale. And I think I had listed them wrong. I'm just slightly too old for Rugrats, y'all. I hate to admit it. And so a viewer told me I put, now I can't even remember their names. What the heck? Oh, here he is. All right, you tell me the names here. This is the one I had wrong. So I'm smart enough to pick them up, but not smart enough to know their names, I guess. Angelica and I just can't remember, y'all. Did that one have glasses? I think that's why we had to discount it, but at any rate, that sold right there with this one for $15 plus shipping. And I don't remember what I paid. I might have paid $1 or $2. A little bit of profit. I wasn't going to leave them behind. I'm glad I didn't. They went to Jessica and Chuck. Hey, Kevin, we watch you on YouTube daily. This is so exciting. My husband and I just had a baby 2 weeks ago. And my wife would never say that me and my husband had a baby. She would say I had my husband's baby, maybe. She wouldn't give me credit for having that baby. At any rate, I hear what you're saying. Let's see, 2 weeks ago, and Rugrats was my absolute favorite show growing up, so we plan on getting our baby into this show as well. That is really cool. We travel all over the country buying inventory because my husband's a truck driver. It's still fairly small, the eBay business. We haven't upgraded to a store, but would love a shout out to our page. Absolutely. Jack, I was going to say Jack Static. It's Jack's Addict. I'm really struggling. Jack's Attic 19. Thanks so much, Jessica and Chuck. All right, Turner's a little dismayed that I took his week.
I have another one.
You have one? No, that's not another one. That's yours. I took it and I sold it.
But there's another one that
No,
I have.
I sold it.
I know. Wait, you sold both of them?
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. I like this.
I'm just kidding. I didn't settle your game. We got that somewhere else. I just thought I'd tease you. And look, can you hear? He's still sick, y'all. But he said he's good enough to do the video. And his mama said, all right, let him go do it. So there you go. But we did sell that for $15. Free shipping, not a whole bunch. But yours is still in there, I promise. You like that game. Yeah. Bubba liked that game when he was a kid. So pretty crazy. But we're happy you're feeling a little bit better. You've been sick for a long time, haven't you? For sure. And who's your favorite car in Lightning McQueen? Besides Lightning McQueen, who's your favorite car?
I don't know. Probably like the King or...
The King or what?
Mater.
Mater? Yeah,
Probably
I suppose so. I like Sarge. He's my favorite. I like him. Anyway, come here. Let me show you something. You know, Santa Claus has a brother? Brian Claus. That's right. And look, yeah, Brian Claus. He sent us all these cookies. Should we eat them or should we let the girls have some too?
We should let the girls have some.
Oh, aren't you sweet? I'd just say eat them. Your moma'd eat them. She wouldn't give them to me. I think these might be, I don't know. He said he sent them persimmon cookies. Are these the persimmon cookies with cream in them? I can smell the peanut butter. Looks so good.
Peanut butter cookies are really
So tell Santa Claus's brother thank you.
Thank you. Who's his name? Brian Claus? Brian
Claus.
Thank you, Brian Claus.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, wait, we forgot. That's definitely enough for you to do what?
$7, spend $1, and donate $1. Bye.
All right, I've got Reagan in here and the spoiled dog. We've been spoiling this dog because we brought a new puppy, and they're starting to get along, though, aren't they? A little bit.
Yeah.
Which is cool. All right, who bought something from you?
Dennis got a gray CWP shirt.
That's right. Thank you to Dennis. I appreciate that, but I want to point this out, too, Reagan. We sold one of the original first edition mugs, and we decided when we did that long time ago we were going to keep a box of them, and we have sold them off for fundraisers. Actually going to go to your Compassion Child. That one's going to Vensky, which is really kind. And listen to what they say here.
Me and Vensky also share the same birthday.
Do you really? I did not know that. Very cool. And it says, I'm super excited to have won this first edition mug and doubly excited that it will also support a Compassion Child. My wife and I support a Compassion Child named Pablo, and he lives in Peru. Very cool. So thank you all very much. Scott and Lisa, GRP Picks. What do you think about that, Sophie? Very cool.
Bye, and don't forget to get your sticker at CommonwealthPicker.com.
Sold 2 of the prints here, Rockwell prints. This one right here is the Discovery, where the boy figures out, you know, who Santa Claus really is. Either that or Santa Claus is sleeping with his mama, which, you know, either way, Santa Claus is sleeping with his mama. And am I supposed to... That's not too bad, is it? Any rate, $8.50 plus shipping. And then this one right here, I have avoided telling this story all holiday season, and I think I'm going to tell it. And before I do, it's going to Kaylin, Christy Lynn. Absolutely adore your family and how everyone has a part in your business. Please check your Flipper IG. I don't have a Flipper IG. My Picker IG, I assume. For a heartfelt story on why this purchase is an emotional one for me. I'm too long-winded for this space. I appreciate that. It does sometimes with the long messages on here. It does get a little bit long-winded, but thank you. I appreciate that. Merry Christmas and blessings to each of you. Shalom. Shalom to you as well. Second Chance Resale is the eBay store. Second is, instead of SEC, it's 2EC. Second Chance Resale. So thank you very much. And that's going out for $10 plus shipping, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, this is often called a Thanksgiving picture from Rockwell, but it's not. It's actually I'll Be Home for Christmas. It's Christmas dinner. And the faces, especially the mischievous ones here, are really pretty awesome. But there is a little history behind it. And of course, he did these for the Saturday Evening Post. And I have sold a few of those Saturday Evening Posts that have those iconic covers on them. But it actually came, it was 1941, and it is derived, this is inspired by a speech by FDR. It was part of a State of the Union address before the United States entered World War II. Matter of fact, it's almost a year before, probably is a year before the United States enters the war. And I know some of you might be sticklers, so this, you know, State of the Unions are usually early January. And then, of course, we enter the war December 7th, 1941, a day that will live in infamy, Pearl Harbor. And so almost a year, I guess, you know, 11 months later. And this was given in a time frame where this speech was highly accepted, I guess, even though it was a major shift from the history of the United States. The 4 freedoms that he talked about, they were actually goals that he talked about, 2 of which were commonplace in American history, but 2 of which were let's just say, quite a bit of a stretch. But after he makes the speech and after World War II, they kind of become commonplace, to be honest with you. This is freedom from want. That's what inspired this one. And of course, there looks like there's very little want right there. It was the goals of providing for people. Now, America traditionally had what we call negative rights. And so the 4 freedoms that he discussed, first 2 of the 4 freedoms we're all very familiar with because they're in the First Amendment, which is freedom of speech and essentially freedom of worship. The other 2 were what we'd call positive rights, which is something we've never really had or never really complies with the Bill of Rights. And he discussed it in the terms of freedom from want, which is, you know, they're in the Depression, of course, where people cannot be wanting, not be hungry, and they can have the things they need to survive. And then the other one was because World War II was raging all around the world, and that was freedom from fear. And of course, freedom from want and freedom from fear are no freedoms at all. They're positive rights. They're not even rights. They're something that he kind of proposed as a goal, not necessarily something to change our fundamental structure of rights in this country, but nonetheless, it kind of went beyond the bounds of the way we think about what our rights are and where they're derived from, and pushed more into the social aspect and more of a bigger government to take care of the needs of a world that was in turmoil. Now, this was not meant to create, you know, political discussion down below, but I'm sure I can't stop you. But I can tell you one thing, that there was no artist that captured the idealism of the day, of what people wished everything was. And look, when we look back at these things, we can just imagine. I mean, just look at the faces here. This is in early 1940s. Just incredible, incredible work by Rockwell. All right, Reagan, you go ahead and start opening that, and we're going to look at this message. It is from Glenn Beal, and he is from Sevierville. You know where that is? It's Dollywood. It's right there by Dollywood. Yeah, Pigeon Forge.
I see something.
Very, very cool. He left a very kind message. I'll let y'all read it. If you pause the video right there, thank you for the very kind words. And look, he gave something to, Sophie, check it out. These are Sophie's favorites, by the way.
Best calendar ever.
Oh my goodness, y'all. She just loves the Golden Girls.
Look at all that.
How cool is that?
Oh, I like that picture. Thank you.
Very, very cool. Glenn is his name, and I know Sophie thanks you, and the cats thank you. You want to open mine? We'll leave these for Mama and Turner get one, but we're going to take it up to them. Hope that's okay. Maybe I'll just put it underneath the tree from me instead.
No. Let's see. I'm bad at opening stuff here.
Oh, check it out. How cool is that?
You definitely
We have enough Sharpies to last a lifetime now. Very, very kind of y'all.
Thank you.
Y'all, we sign these cards.
I
Sometimes I sit in here
Sharpies.
for hours signing these cards.
Thank you.
Every single thing that heads out of here, everything, we put a card in. So we've gone through plenty of those. Thank you, Glenn. We appreciate it very much.
You. Bye.
Really quick, the winner of our Enema Man giveaway from last week, I guess it is at this point, is Chris Madden. Hit me up on Instagram if you can, or maybe if you can't, commonwealthpicker@gmail.com. Thanks so much. All right, y'all, I'm going to finish the video in here. I want to talk about 2 things really quick, one not so serious and one a little bit more serious. First one is I've started to get feedback about folks who have signed up for my reseller Genie because of my suggestion. And so many of them are like, you know, thank you, I'm terribly disorganized, and this is already getting me in the right direction. I haven't got any negative feedback whatsoever, knock on wood. And I'm so grateful that you have trusted me to choose Paul and Hope, because, you know, these 2 people are just great folks. And so if you want to, as you head into the new year, and you're thinking about maybe starting off brand new and making sure you're doing all the right things for your taxes and making sure you're keeping track of all of those things that you can write off, and do all of those things and really learn about your business and the numbers, this is the thing for you. So check out myresellergenie.com. You will not regret it. And you use code Commonwealth, all caps, and you can get 15% off the first month. So, all right, there's my plug. And I'm proud to plug that, y'all. Those, I mean, I talk to them often. They're good folks. And they've got a great product. And it's a product that's very, very needed as well. Look at that. See? That's a lot of stuff. I got to make sure that I write off every dime I spent on that stuff and keep track of all of it. So, at any rate, the other thing is a little bit more serious. And, you know, if you've watched me long enough, I do tend to get a little emotional. So I try to avoid these things. But I just want to say thank you to everybody out there, because I'm in a place right now. You don't know this, but, well, I was going to talk about it next episode. I've shut my store down for a week. Longer than that. It's shut down right now as we speak, so I can spend time with my family. And this is something I would not have been able to do in the past. There simply wasn't enough money. I was a teacher trying to make ends meet, selling on eBay, but because of YouTube, there's more than enough. And I can shut this store down and take time to be with my family, and a lot of you can't. And I appreciate that, and none of that is lost on me. And a lot of you out there aren't even with family. You wish you were. Some of you may be alone, and none of that's lost on us either, and we're appreciative, and we don't want you to feel alone out there. Thank you for being part of our family, even if I don't know who you are. So, anyway, I just wanted to say that, and especially this time of year when the light of the world came to be with us, I want you to feel like somebody's with you. So, all right, there's my once a year. You got to allow me that. Thank y'all for joining us, and I can't wait to see you next time.